Many months later.
Yeah, so apologies for this being only the second Talking Skulls video or episode. Um the last episode was a while ago. It was that was our bad, unfortunately. So we took a bit of a break, if you hadn't noticed, with the uploads and all the other stuff going on. But we have come back today to talk about we're retreading a old topic that our first video covered, and we're going to be talking about DC and Warner Brothers again. Now, a lot has changed in the past couple of months. Some good news, and some news that has been, how shall we say? Wordz here has a lot to say. If his words from earlier, prior to recording, it'll probably be a spicy episode, ladies and gentlemen. So buckle up. Now, why don't we start with the most obvious change that happened? Little old guy from director from the MCU who directed Guardians of the Galaxy, James Gunn, took over. How do you feel about it, Wordz?
Before getting into the other topic we're going to talk about, I actually was excited for James Gunn to come over. I actually liked the Suicide Squad. He did do that film. The Guardians of the Galaxy films are obviously great. So I thought he was gonna take not Sony, Jesus, that's another company we can talk about too. He's gonna take DC and the universe. I think he was gonna take it somewhere great. With the other news that came out recently, I'm not so sure about that now. But yeah.
Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you not living under a rock, James Gunn took over, was officially hired by DC a couple weeks ago, to basically head up the DC studios, or whatever you want to call it, basically take over and create a brand new DC cinematic universe. Because they had to go Scorched Earth. And Scorched Earth equals, I don't care what stood before it. It's all going into the trash. But there is some obvious moments that, look, there are some things that need to be talked about. So here's the biggest news out of all of it. And this is kind of the scumbag stuff with Warner Brothers, unfortunately. So, we're going to go into the Henry news a little bit later, or into his stuff a little bit more in detail later on in the video, but here's the general. Henry was doing The Witcher. He left The Witcher. Then he put on Instagram he was coming back as Superman. Then I believe... Yeah, because then obviously Black Adam's the mid-credit scene or after-credit scene or whatever you want to call it, he pops in, and we thought, oh, okay, Henry Cavill's back as Superman. Yay! James Gunn said, no, that's not how it's gonna work here. So, the news came out from James Gunn. He basically cleared it up on Twitter. Henry Cavill will not be returning as the Man of Steel. He's gone. He's hanging up the cape. And we went, what? No, Wordz here was not happy about that part.
Yeah, but we'll talk about that a little later.
So, like I said, James Gunn took over. Henry Cavill's out. There is some news surrounding, what's his name? Plays Aquaman. Jason Momoa. There you go. The rumor is he's going to play Lobo. That is what a lot of people speculate, and that's what a lot of rumors might be pointing to. There is a bit of hypocrisy in him coming back alone, because as I said, James Gunn did confirm Henry's not coming back as Superman. But he did say, but we'll talk about, potential roles for him in the DCU, the new DC Cinematic Universe later on. And I went, yeah, not anymore, buddy. So, you have that. There's the Wonder Woman and Patty Jenkins. There's that news, which was that was hilarious. honest, that was probably some of the funniest news I saw out of DC, which was the whole Patty Jenkins drama that went down. Look, here's the honest truth. I never saw 1984. I heard all kinds of bad things about it, and the few clips I did see of it, I went, no, 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 I'm good. Not my thing. Did you see it, Words?
I did not see 1984. Even though I think the first Wonder Woman was actually good, I heard really shitty things about the second one. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna check out. It doesn't even look that good, to be honest. And Patty Jenkins, she isn't that good.
At the very least, as a writer, as far as a lot of people were saying.
Oh yeah, because they even had to rewrite her Star Wars movie because of how bad it was written.
Ugh. So yeah, so there's that news. She could be out at this point. I have no idea. This whole situation with Warner Brothers and DC is so fast evolving. Nobody knows. But so like I said, Wonder Woman's out. Or not, or no, Gal Gadot. We don't know if she's officially out yet. She could be. She probably most likely is out the door. Like we said, Jason Momoa, he's probably gonna be Lobo. Henry Cavill's out. Ben Affleck. I think James Gunn said Ben will get to direct. They just have to find something for him to direct. I'm like, okay. I mean, I don't know much about his history as a director. Maybe you know more about it, Words. Like I said, I'm not too familiar. I'm not gonna say he's good or bad.
I think he's a better director than he's an actor, but that's a hot take.
Oh, well, that's your style anyway, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, that's what Words believes. I'm gonna abstain here and just say, well, you know, maybe he's good, maybe he's bad. I have no idea. So, I'm just gonna abstain from it altogether. We have that news. Now, what if now we also have the Aquaman 2 sequel that is in proverbial hell, or development hell at this point. Jesus Christ, that movie. Jesus. I think Amber Heard is still supposed to be in the movie, is what reports were saying. I'm like, what? You still want her in the movie after that shit show a couple months ago?
Also, supposedly Ben is supposed to be playing Batman in the movie, but with the news, I don't know how that's gonna work out. This is all, it's all fucked up. Let's just say that.
Yeah. Another thing that is most likely is all but confirmed is the Flash movie and the scenes that were supposed to contain, or the post-credit scenes that were supposed to contain a Wonder Woman and a Superman cameo were both cut. I either think that's either heavily in the rumor mill or it's confirmed. But this all speaks to one giant thing. Warner Brothers, or specifically James Gunn, is literally lighting a torch to everything. It's not even, he's just torching everything in his path.
This is fine. I'm okay with the events that are unfolding currently.
Now, this does speak to something, however. Like I alluded to, Jason Momoa might still be sticking around. There's also the Shazam sequel that's supposed to come out next year.
Yeah, it comes out next year.
Yeah. There was like I said, there's that whole situation. I'm assuming that character will also get shit canned. There's that.
I don't think so, actually.
And that's where some people have an issue, because if I remember correctly, and I was learning about this, is Zachary Levi's name?
He's the guy who plays Shazam, yeah.
He's personal friends with James Gunn. And James Gunn has made I don't think he's made any comment in regards to, Zachary's role as Shazam moving forward. He's had little to no confirmation on that situation. Apparently, he also wants to keep Margot Robbie. It's Harley Quinn, and I went, really? After Birds of Prey? I don't know, man. That's a look. I think she's a good actress, but it's just a really bad movie. Like, it's horrifically bad. I saw a bit of it, and I went, yeah, I'm good. After what they did to Black Mask, I went, yeah, you just basically emasculated Black Mask. I'm good. Now, as we said, Warner Brothers is a fucking mess. No questions asked. Not even a, it's not even like up for debate. It is just a disaster right now at that studio.
Everything is a mess. Like, they're taking off our HBO originals from HBO Max, and it's like, why the fuck should I even pay for HBO now if you're just gonna ship off all your fucking original shows to other streaming services when you have your own streaming service?
Yeah. Now that's more to the streaming side of things, but this again is just alludes to the fact everything is in turmoil at the moment. We all knew this was going to be a rocky transition. We just didn't think it was going to be this rocky. But, hey, sometimes change is very, very painful. However, the change that Warner Brothers is going through is a little different from the DC side of things because, so the first real big thing that I came to, this is my conclusion. James Gunn is all but making sure that the Shazam sequel, the Aquaman sequel, and the Flash movie, they're all guaranteed to fail. They're all guaranteed to basically go, why should I go watch this movie? This movie has nothing to do with what's going to be releasing in a few years from now. Because again, he all but confirmed like the post-credit scenes are getting removed. Lots of reshoots. Like, these movies, like I said, you go to see movies that are in a cinematic universe because they're all connected, because they're supposed to build up to something. Why should I go see any of these movies? They're all a disaster. So, that's me personally with the way I view these movies. I don't think any of them are going to financially make back their money, because why would they? Audiences
Black Adam struggled too to make its money back, so...
That is very true. And it had The Rock star in it.
And James Gunn had some things to say about The Rock also.
Yeah, that was a fun thing to witness on. That was hilarious, actually. As you can see, let's just say people are not agreeing about the vision of DC. And James Gunn's vision for DC is, let's just say, not a lot of people are happy about it.
It's kind of weird, man, because like he's like, oh yeah, let's have like this main universe, but then we're gonna have like Robert Pattinson's Batman being a different universe, and then we're gonna have the Joker being the other different universe, the Joker series by Todd Phillips, and supposedly this is what I heard anyway. They want Todd Phillips to literally be in charge of his own like DC Black Label like universe where he does like movies based around villains, like solo films about Batman villains or like DC villains. Like, why? What is the point?
Yikes. Now you have that whole, like I said, I think he did confirm that there would be, outside of the main continuity of films that he's planning, because it is a 10-year plan, outside of that, there will be films excluded from that universe. The Batman is, I think, the Batman, I think, was more out of his hands than he would like. I think the executives told him, the sequel is going forward. We don't care. It made us money, and you're not touching one of our best characters, one of our best properties. You're not touching it. If it makes money, we're going right ahead with it. So now, for those of you who are not aware, James Gunn did make a Twitter thread and did explain where he's starting, which is a Superman movie, like we all kind of expected. But there is a caveat. This will be a younger Clark Kent. Now, immediately everybody on Twitter, and I'm sure some of you who are not aware, are going, again, an origin story? I'm already waiting for the people in the crowd to, push up their glasses and do the snorty voice and saying, actually, look, we saw what he said. He said it's not an origin story. It's going to be after, like a couple of years or a little bit afterwards. Ladies and gentlemen, did we just not get a whole trilogy that is considered an origin story for Spider-Man in the MCU? Did we just not get that? Again...
And Man of Steel already kind of was an origin story, but also wasn't an origin story at the same time.
Yeah. As you can see.
And the Christopher Reeves Superman, the first one, was kind of an origin story, but also not an origin story. I mean, like everything that we've seen with Superman, like since the Christopher Reeve version of Superman has been a younger version of Clark technically. So I don't really get it, to be honest with you.
Then you also, you also could just go to the Smallville TV show.
I was just about to talk about Smallville too.
You have that. I'm like, look, I'm not gonna be judging too harshly just because, look, I know everybody wants Henry Cavill to play the Superman. Everybody, from the look of it on Twitter, was upset about this news. Some people were probably. I'm a little less on the. I'm more on the meh side, but I'm kind of disappointed at the same time. But, you know, there's also that won't be the only Kryptonian film based around a Kryptonian apparently in the works.
The J.J. Abrams movie is still going on for some reason.
Yeah, I heard the rumor is that's gonna get dumped on HBO Max, and I went,
How this guy already said they're done with making HBO Max shit, so I wonder how that's gonna even work.
maybe contractual stuff around the contracts or whatever is probably the reason, I'm guessing. But
Was
then
there not a
again,
contract for Batgirl?
yeah, that's actually the question. why why you know why can the Batgirl movie but not can the Superman movie, or this movie based around a Kryptonian who happens to be black? That's probably, then again, they weren't afraid to do that to the Batgirl movie, and that one actually was filmed and everything.
And Barbara Gordon was technically black or half black or whatever.
So that actually
Do you
makes
think they actually care?
Yeah, that's actually a good question. Like, what separates this from just, and this is any, like, okay, I'm confused. That's actually very much a case of, well, if you did it to one, why can't you do it to this one? It's in the
I have a feeling it's just because it's J.J. Abrams connected to the film, so they're like, let's not actually fuck with this guy because he's like an established Hollywood executive or whatever you want to call it, like
Yeah.
Hollywood filmmaker. Whoever, I don't even know the guys who made Batgirl, to be honest. So, yeah.
Yeah, they probably went, maybe we want him to do something like in this new universe we're building at some point in the future, so they probably don't want to piss him off. That's my best guess about the situation. So, as we said, now, as we all, like I said, I'm assuming Flash, the Flash movie is the end. It is the end, kaput, nothing after that. So what this means is most likely DC is going to go on a bit of a hiatus, because I think James Gunn is writing the script for this Superman movie as we speak. Now, he did confirm one detail. Clark already knows the other members of the Justice League in this movie. Like, he already knows Diana. He already knows Bruce. I'm assuming he's going to probably know whichever Green Lantern they use, whatever Flash they use, and whoever that last member is. The last couple members, because it tends to switch up. The most recent was obviously Cyborg.
But it could also be Martian Man.
And it also could be, there's also Hawkgirl.
Yeah, Hawkgirl or Hawkman.
Yeah. So, like I said, James Gunn did say in the new year, this upcoming year, we will get, early on, I think he said, we will get news, more information regarding the details surrounding this new universe, as well as kind of something more concrete. Because, like I said, I don't want to judge it too harshly simply because we don't know a ton. Outside of the little crumpets he's given us, he's probably going to drop a couple more before the end of the year. But again, we're going to have to wait till, him and whoever, and I forget the name of the guy he's working with. I think his name's Peter something, I forget. When they sit down and they actually sit in front of a crowd and they actually give or make a video or whatever they're going to do and give us an outline at the very least. So there's that situation. Now, I know what now I know what everybody, especially the ladies, because we all know how much ladies love Henry Cavill. Now, Henry Cavill, I think the guy's a decent actor. I don't think, like I said, I don't think he's like fantastic or anything, but I also don't think he's been given much of anything of good quality to work with in both his role as Superman, a dream role of his, and as Geralt of Rivia in The Witcher. Neither one of those shows have given him anything worthwhile to work with. So there's that whole situation, and that's where we're going to start talking about, is the Henry Cavill situation, because, well, it's news, and we might as well talk about it. So, Wordz, let me ask you, how familiar are you with this situation? Because this shit has been unfolding the last couple of, like, the last week or so, and it's been hilarious and entertaining to watch.
So, I was at work, funny enough, when the news came out, and it started trending. So, I went on my break at work, and I look at, I'm on Twitter, you know, because I get my news from Twitter, and it says Henry Cavill will not be returning, and he posts this shit on Instagram or whatever it was, and I just said, I'll give my opinion. Like, are you fucking serious? Like, it's honestly ridiculous. I think James Gunn just made the biggest fucking mistake he probably ever could have regarding the DC universe already. So, I know he left The Witcher. I know he wanted to leave The Witcher more because, well, we don't know everything exactly, but we do know that he was arguing with the executives over them not following the actual lore or the source material and stuff like that. So, whether he actually left for that reason or he left because he was promised he was going to actually play Superman again, which he was told he was, that's, you know, up to everyone to finally figure out. I guess that's up to the news people, to the media to figure out fully. But he's also going to play in the Warhammer series for Amazon Prime or whatever, Prime Video or whatever. So I think like he was gonna go to Superman and then play, you know, be in Warhammer or whatever he was gonna do in Warhammer. But yeah, you know, like it's just very upsetting. I know a lot of people were really pissed off about it.
Yeah, because for me, I remember, I think I was at work as well when I was first like seeing on the whole news pop up as well. And I was seeing it and I went, oh, he left The Witcher? Right? And you know, he left The Witcher, then the whole thing about Superman came out. Me, I believe he was going to leave The Witcher regardless of Superman or not. I personally am of the belief he was going to leave The Witcher because the first season I watched some of the first season, it was kind of confusing. I'm not going to sit here and lie. I was kind of confused because of the whole different timeline thing. But I thought it was an okay first season. I thought it was decent. And I heard from people who were a lot more familiar with the Witcher lore and the books and the games, and they said it was decent. Like, there were some things that they changed to fit the TV show, but it was all right. Then I heard the second season went off a cliff. Like, they said it became the Yennefer show. That was the funniest thing. It became less about The Witcher and more about Yennefer. And I went, oh. So they did the whole, here's your male character, but he gets undermined and he gets put in the back seat for the female character to take center stage. I went, oh.
They did the He-Man Masters of the Universe Kevin Smith series.
Yeah.
Netflix, man. That's what they do, I guess.
Yeah. So we had that happen. And so and then again, as Word said, there was a lot of back and forth between Henry and the writer team, who is, and Netflix is not shy about this. The writing team has explicitly said, you know, it's mostly, if not all, female. And they went, and so I'm not shocked that Henry was kind of maybe butting heads with them. There were, you know, and that whole thing popped out. Now, I will bring this up. There was a tweet. The person who posted this transcript from a podcast took it down because it was getting a lot of blowback. Because look, man, the way it read was oof. I have never seen a more it's almost like I said, the tweet consisted of them trying to smear Henry Cavill and the way he was on set they're trying to smear him basically. And they used every possible, like, it was so vague and trying so hard to, make him out to be the problem make him the problem and not them. It was just I read it and I went, if you believe, like I said, on face value, I went, some of this I can believe, but I think it's hyperbole, right? Because there are times where you perceive something as somebody trying to like take a dig at you, or they think you're incompetent, that you can't do your job, and when all they're doing is simply offering criticism, they're simply offering an alternative. And the showrunner, I don't remember her name, but I don't care enough to remember. Even when, following Henry's departure from The Witcher, came out and even said, like, there were a couple times where, there were things that she wanted in the show that Henry wasn't too big of a fan of. Like, for example, there was the showrunner originally wanted a joke during the scene in which Geralt's horse, Roach, dies. They actually wanted it to kind of be a comedic moment or like a joke in there. And then Henry stepped in and went, no, please, no, don't do this. And he rewrote it and took something from the book / the lore and the source material, wrote it, and some people said that was like one of the better moments in the show, is that moment. And I went, oh, so when you stick to the thing, it actually works out better than just doing Marvel humor. Oh, okay. So there's that. Now, he left The Witcher. He got screwed over by DC. Now, what did Henry do? Did he sit on his laurels? Did he sit on his ass and go, I'm fucked? No, this man said, I'm sick and tired of these people fucking me over. So, why don't I go do my own thing? Now he decided to pursue one of his passions, which is Warhammer 40k. This dude is a giant fucking nerd about it. He doesn't shy away from it. He posts his images of him painting the little Warhammer, miniatures. So I went, and when the news broke that he was working alongside, I forget the name of the entertainment, Visco Entertainment, I believe is the name. I could be misremembering. And hilariously enough, his girlfriend is one of the, I think one of the head people at that company. That's like the funniest thing I found out. They went to Amazon. They said, hey, we want to do a Warhammer 40k series. And Amazon said, sure, we'll buy the rights to it. Because look, anybody who knows anything about Games Workshop knows those people hand out their IP for candy. However, the one stipulation is they have a lot of creative control. So, now here's the one thing. More often than not, when a Hollywood actor goes, I respect this IP, more often than not, we just go, no, I don't trust you with it. What do you think, Wordz? What happens when an actor says that kind of thing? Do you instantly trust them when they say that, or you just go no?
No, simply no. Honestly, like they're actors. They know how to act. They know how to pretend. That's kind of their job. So it's hard to like believe them. But in this case, I don't think that that is the case at all. I think Henry Cavill is like the biggest fucking nerd in Hollywood or in the filmmaking industry or whatever you want to call it. Like, he's like the average guy, the average nerd guy, but he's just like an actor, and he's like, a Chad also at the same time, which most of us aren't, sadly.
So that's kind of why a lot of us have hope. Because when he posted on Instagram, I think it was like just a couple days after the news about Superman, him not returning Superman. A couple days later, or I think it was like the next day or 2 days later, he posted on Instagram, or first I think it was a rumor that said he was pursuing to create like a live action, to not only create but to star in a live action Warhammer film series or whatever it's going to be. The kicker, and this was the part that made me go, okay, I think I might be able to put some faith in this product, is the fact that he's going to be an executive producer on it, which means is he might have final say on a lot of stuff that might be coming in through the pipeline. And I went, yes, because that's the one thing the few times when actors and actresses are like executive producers and they have more of a say, I think Tom Cruise, an executive producer on Top Gun Maverick.
He was, yeah.
And look how that turned out. It was a solid,
The
really
biggest box office hit of the year.
Yeah, by a good margin. So, when the actors and actresses who give a shit, because that's the most important aspect of the whole conversation, those who give a shit and are willing to stick to what the source material and willing to fight for what they like. There may be examples where it goes badly. I'm not going to say basically. But there are also times when it can succeed. And I'm firmly in the camp that Henry Cavill will do really well. Now, there's the conversation of, do we really want to expose the public to Warhammer 40k? Now, I'm, more into that than Wordz. He's maybe his bare minimum knowledge about it, if none, So I know a bit more about it, and so it's a really grim, dark sci-fi universe that, quite frankly, I'm just ready for the meltdown on Twitter when, if it goes anywhere near the level of carnage and just depressing scenery that will be unfolding. I just can't wait for that. So, let's see. Henry Cavill bouncing back on his feet. DC going into a disastrous, and I mean disastrous tailspin that we have no idea if they're going to be able to pull themselves out of. What are the chances they'll probably pull out of this, Wordz, honestly?
So I think that the biggest problem was that they announced this Henry Cavill situation right as they were rebooting their universe, and it's like, well, you just alienated so many of the people that actually want to watch these movies, like me. The one thing I hated Batman vs Superman. I was not that big of a fan of Justice League, either version of it, by the way. But the one thing was, I love the Man of Steel. I love Henry Cavill. He's actually a really good actor. This role was made for him. The guy literally is Superman. There's only two guys that I think of. Well, I mean, it depends, but I think of Christopher Reeves and I think of him as Superman, automatically. When you bring up Superman, that's the image that shoots into my mind. So them literally saying yeah, fuck you, we're not bringing you back, you're not going to be Superman ever again, has to be the dumbest shit they ever could have done. And I think that they just said fuck you to a lot of the fans of people that actually give a shit about DC. I don't think they're going to be able to get out of this mess anytime soon. And the problem is that they're dropping Aquaman 2, excuse me. They're still doing the Flash movie. They're still doing the Shazam movie. Number one, I don't know many people who give a shit about Shazam. The Flash, obviously, we already talked about the Ezra Miller shit the last video we did. And Aquaman 2, we already know, it doesn't mean shit, right? And nor does the Shazam movie, probably, maybe, who knows yet. The Flash movie is still kind of interesting because it's going to reset the universe probably into what it's going to end up becoming, but still, it's why should I give a fuck anymore? Why should anybody give a shit anymore, to be honest, about DC? And so I think they're going to be lucky to get out of this issue, or this mess.
Yeah, because think about it this way. James Gunn is writing a script. That doesn't mean it's the final thing, right? That's the assumption I'm going with. That first script he's writing may not be the final thing. That thing may go through some revisions, some changes. So I don't think, if anybody thinks filming or anything is going to start anytime soon, the earliest I imagine is late next year. at the earliest. And that movie might not come out till when? 2024? 2025, realistically?
They'll try to put it out in 2025 so they can try to
Some distance.
compete with the Avengers movies that are both coming out that year.
Oh, God. We have to do a video on that. That's another topic we have to
That's
talk
a whole other topic, but yeah.
Yeah.
Marvel is also a fucking mess right now, so.
Yeah. But, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, we have covered most of the absolute shit show that is DC right now because, my God, like I said, I thought, why would you alienate a chunk of the fan base who really, really like Henry Cavill? And here's the other thing. Most of the audience will be confused. Will be genuinely confused. They're going to go, wait a second, they're doing this all over again? And
I agree with
yeah, that's going to be a giant thing that DC has to kind of figure out. How do you reintroduce a new Superman? You know, when you just saw, you know, Henry Cavill as Superman just a couple years earlier. Now all of a sudden you got a new Superman to worry about? Because guess what? We haven't seen a new Iron Man. No hints at, well, kind of, but you get the point.
But not
No,
really.
no new Tony Stark, no new nothing. That's like the pillar of the MCU has not been replaced, and he was Iron Man for 10 fucking years. Henry Cavill was Superman for like a minute for a couple years, and it was really in a lot of really shitty films. So again, DC is gonna have to figure out how do they unfuck themselves. So I think that's a good place to call it, ladies and gentlemen. We apologize again for the fact that this is only episode 2 of the Talking Skulls podcast / news thing, whatever we're gonna call it. We've been both been busy with personal life, but we are going to try and make a concerted effort, especially going into the, you know, with 2023, you know, right around the corner. We're gonna try and make a concerted effort to start doing these on a more regular basis. You know, that much we can give to you. We will do a lot more of these next year. A lot more often than just 2 in like, what, 5 months?
Yeah. You know, like I think that now that we've seen like this in this first like period, this first I'll call it like this first era of our channel, right? That we can look and like say, hey, we can improve on this shit go forward because we could definitely try to balance things a lot better and shit like that. You know how
Yeah.
it is.
And I will also be making another concerted effort to, you know, put out more content. You know, Wordz, you know, the little promo. Wordz put out a video about the MCU Spider-Man and his thoughts and opinions about that whole thing. And, you know, go check that video out. It's actually doing rather well. You know, and there's already kind of a conversation already starting up in the comment section.
Yeah.
So, we're going to call it...
Actually.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to end the video here. If you guys enjoyed this, which I really hope you did because this is almost a 40-minute video. We apologize, but there's a lot to go over. So, we hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like, comment, let us know what the hell you think because, again, we have our own thoughts, but we really want to know what the audience thinks because, again, it's not just us going to the movie theaters. It's not just, you know, a handful of people. It's a lot of people. We want to know what a lot of you guys are thinking. And if you want to find more content like this, hit that subscribe button down below. And, Wordz, you got any things to say?
No, just watch out for more content. I'm posting a lot more often. I've been streaming lately, so we'll see if that continues. I don't know if we're gonna keep streaming further into the next year as frequently as I have been, but
We'll see. Maybe I'll try and pick up the slack.
Yeah, we'll definitely keep like doing the stuff that we've been doing. I think like right now we're in like a nice little flow of the content that we want to put out. So just pay attention, just watch out. Check the community tab because we suddenly have that. Also, you can follow our Twitter and Instagram accounts. It's also our handle on every social media platform is @anuisancemedia. So, yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to call it here. We'll see you guys next time.